Hello everyone, this is Nick from Can of Worms, and I want to take some time tonight to talk about Magic the Gathering. Mainly my experiences as a returning player back in 2019, as well as what has caused me to now sell my entire Magic the Gathering collection, and talk about some of the issues that's been plaguing the Magic the Gathering community in the past year. Before we get started, please don't forget to like the video, leave some comments if you want to talk about some of your Magic the Gathering experiences, or maybe you disagree with some of my sentiments, and subscribe if you want to hear more from me or any of my friends at Can of Worms. I started playing Magic back in 2019 with War of the Spark, and 2019 was a huge year for Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering Arena, the online game that is hugely popular now, and that actually has a pretty good Twitch following, that had a massive resurgence of players in 2019, and War of the Spark, just in general, when that set dropped, so many people, just like me, just coming back to the game or starting the game for the first time because these advertisements were so appealing, the cinematics were amazing, and the actual cards were super fun to play, super fun to collect. The art was amazing. The story was good, but the book that they released for War of the Spark was not, which is really funny. The actual lore for Magic the Gathering, they have all kinds of different books and online articles, and the actual cards themselves, many of them have lore in them. At the bottom of the card, they have these things called flavor text, and all of that stuff was great. And all the way up, honestly, all the way up until the pandemic and the lockdown started, Magic was super fun to play for a lot of people. And a big proponent of that was the format known as Commander. Commander is a super casual format that is probably the most cost-effective way to get into Magic the Gathering and is currently the most played format of Magic the Gathering, which is hilarious because Magic the Gathering Online doesn't allow you to play Commander because it's not a format that is curated and monitored by Wizards of the Coast. It's a fan-made format that has actually outgrown the official formats. But beyond that, many people have come back to Magic the Gathering, and Wizards of the Coast is booming. They're making so much money, and Hasbro sees that. And Hasbro, I believe, dug deeper into Wizards of the Coast and has now created many problems that I'm going to talk about here. But before I talk about those things, I want to talk about Magic the Gathering during the pandemic. So, a huge part of the Magic the Gathering community is playing with people at local game stores, or if you don't want to play at a local game store, then you can just gather around your dinner table and, play with some friends, whatever. You couldn't really do that during the pandemic. Maybe you go over to your friends here and there, but especially during the height of lockdown, you weren't going outside. No one should have been going outside. And many of these local game stores had to shut their doors temporarily in preparation for all of this. And the weird thing is, Wizards never stopped printing products. They continued to print products and ran into many of the same things that many retailers ran into, where supply chains were getting all kinds of messed up from delays. Printing was hard to do because the companies that were doing the printing for the cards had their own issues going on during lockdown, and it just all became a mess. Local game stores, when they could open up and sell product, or you could pre-order a product and pick it up at their doorstop, it just turned into a huge mess, and it created a bit of a scarcity for a couple of things. One of these things was a product called Jumpstart. which was going to be Magic the Gathering's way to get new players interested in the game. And the product was wildly successful. It sold out immediately because new or returning or just regular ass players, they loved the cards, some of the new and old cards that were in these Jumpstart sets. It was a blast to play. It's a damn shame I never got to play it because Wizards never reprinted more. And that is going to be the first main issue with Wizards of the Coast right now and getting into Magic the Gathering. During the beginning of lockdown, I can understand that there was less products available because it was a pain in the ass for any company to survive. I get it. But what they're doing now and what they've done, I'd say the past 8 months to a year, is not printing enough product and not going back and printing products that were lacking before. So Jumpstart, for example, this product that was wildly successful, made a ton of money, sold out immediately, and fans wanted more. New players wanted more, old players wanted more, everyone wants more. But the people who wanted it the most were the local game stores. No one was getting a supply of these. Online retailers, local game stores, Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast was not printing more Jumpstart, and to this day still haven't printed more Jumpstart. And what that caused was an artificial scarcity for many of those cards, especially the new ones, because when you mix scarcity due to printing with rarity, with a handful of cards, you get individual cards that cost $40, $50, maybe more. And we're talking about a product that cost $20 to get your hands on. Individual cards that are costing more than the product they come in. It's not new to Magic the Gathering. It's not new to any card game that this happens. But the answer to fix this issue would be to print more. They have no interest in it. Or, haven't shown any interest in it. And then they continue with more products and print less. And eventually get to the point where they openly say they're going to print less. What happened this year was a product named Time Spiral Remastered. And Wizards of the Coast publicly said that there was only going to be one wave of printing for these cards. And what that did was immediately drive up the price. The starting price for Time Spiral Remastered was $220 USD. The next day goes up to $250. $280, $300, $350, sold out. After all the pre-orders and all the boxes were bought up, that's it. It's gone. There are no sealed Time Spiral remasters that you can get, especially below $200 anymore. Or I should say below $250. I believe my local game store had them for $260, $270 last time I was in there. And probably about 3-4 months ago, I think. They had one box left, and it had to have been like somewhere between $250 $300, because even they, as an official retailer for Magic the Gathering, have to raise their prices for these individual boxes because they're not getting supplies. And again, individual cards go up in price because of scarcity. The thing with Time Spiral Remastered is that these are cards that all exist in a previous set Time Spiral, hence the remaster. So there are plenty of cards that actually went down in value because there's now more of them available in the world, but it doesn't change the fact that, once again, players looking to either get back into Magic the Gathering, play the Time Spiral block, or grow their collection can't. because either the individual cards they want are still too expensive, or they can't get a hold of this booster box to try and obtain the cards they want, or just, in my case, I just love cracking packs and getting nice cards and tucking them away for decks that I can build later. People couldn't do that. And that's a lot of the point to play Magic the Gathering. There's plenty of people who play Magic the Gathering and their biggest appeal is just opening that fresh pack of cards and seeing what they get, you know? I guess you can call it like a gambling high sometimes. But it just gets worse and worse. And then we get to the newest set, Strixhaven, where printing issues happen, which are probably not in their control, and game stores weren't able to get enough product. Once again, creating scarcity, prices of the individual products go up, prices of the individual cards go up, and once again, it is way too much to get into Magic the Gathering or add to your collection, upgrade your deck, whatever. Money is the big focal point here, but a lot of it also has to do with Wizards of the Coast as a company, and a lot of this is, like I said before, probably coming from Hasbro, which owns Wizards of the Coast. Hasbro probably doesn't see that enough profit could be made by creating a surplus of cards. So what I believe is happening is they're making, air quotes, enough of the product to sell, and then making their profits and just carrying on creating new stuff rather than restocking the old stuff that people are still trying to get their hands on. It just turned this game that I love so much into a product, not a game. Hasbro doesn't care if you play the game, they only care if you buy the product. Obviously, that's the whole point of being a company and a corporation, is to sell a product. All they care about is their bottom line. I get that. But as a player, I share the same view that many people online have also shared, is I like Magic the Gathering because it is a fun game to play with my friends. And it is no longer a game. It's a collector's item. And I just don't care about this collector item anymore as far as owning the physical pieces of cardboard. So what me and a lot of people in my friend groups have done is actually sell all of our cards and convert entirely to Tabletop Simulator, which is a game that you can get on Steam on sale all the frickin' time. We can build whatever deck we want, play whenever we want online, which is great during lockdown still, and, you know, no cost, play the exact same game, have our fun, talk over Discord. And what really hit home for me was a friend of mine saying, hell, it would be cheaper to buy a cheap laptop and we just bust out laptops on the dinner table to play Magic the Gathering instead of trying to upgrade our decks. And it really is true. I had one deck in particular that was worth $500-$600. Obviously, that's not everyone's story. Not everyone has these absorbent price decks, but it's just goes back to Magic being this money hole that you have to constantly throw money into if you want to either stay relevant or play the same fun stuff that your friends are playing. If you play with the same cards and never upgrade, then the game will get stale, and the game thrives on that. That's the point. You can build other decks, and Commander in particular lets you use cards all throughout Magic's history, and there are cheap alternatives to some things, and there's ways to avoid the giant price tag. But the whole thing is that this is a collectible card game, and I don't have the ability, even if there wasn't a global pandemic going on, I wouldn't be able to go down to my local game store and get a box of Magic the Gathering cards that I want, because Wizards of the Coast isn't giving them the product. And just that whole idea of, if a retailer can't get it, then no one can get it in my city unless they order online. You go online, oops, it's sold out because they didn't print enough of them, and they don't care. They don't care that people can't get a hold of these boxes. They've made their money, and they're just going to keep going. And I don't want to be a part of that process anymore. So I'll play for free on Tabletop Simulator. I'll cash out my collection for a cool, clean $1,000 and just move on and continue playing the game I love without breaking the bank. If you want to look into some of the music that I've been playing through this video, I have links to the OC remix artists that have created these remixes of classic Metroid, or rather Super Metroid music. Please check them out if you want to hear more of their stuff. And again, please like, comment, subscribe if you want to hear more from me or my friends at Can of Wyrms, and I hope you all have a good day. Thank you.